To understand Berlin, you have to understand the Stalinallee. That's what it was called up until 1961. It's now called the Karl Marx Allee. That's a German philosopher. It's a socialist model street with all the ideology and the construction that you would ever imagine. Now, most of Berlin was destroyed during World War II, so it had to be rebuilt. There was also an extreme need for housing, so this filled a couple of those boxes. Anyway, this boulevard today stands as a testament to when ideology meets architecture, but in a couple different phases. That's Alexanderplatz. They're still building new stuff there today. But the rest of the boulevard is a really interesting piece of Berlin history. Well, the boulevard began to be built in the 1950s. That's actually where Stalin used to stand, his statue. And there was an initial 5-year plan noted by this placard there. And some of the older sections of the boulevard look a little bit more socialist realist. This section has some lamps that are easily identified in the 1950s pictures you'll see, and the early construction of the Stalinallee when it was built before the cranes. This section was built a lot slower, but the construction materials and the things like that are a little bit more dated, and you can also see a little bit more of a sheen in the tiles that adorn the buildings, and it makes you kind of wonder, at what cost things were built during a really, really tough time economically. There's also a lot of ideological art up on the buildings depicting socialist life, workers, friendship, family life, things like that, and of course the peace dove. Can't forget about that. So it's a funny place just because that still stands here. There's also this awesome art and tile work that adorns a lot of the doorways. Most of that is in the 50s Stalinallee. That's the part that's east of the Frankfurter Tor, which is right here, okay, from Alexanderplatz all the way to that, including Strausberger Platz. That's the 60s Stalinallee or the Karl Marx Allee. That was the one they built with the cranes. When you're east of the Frankfurter Tor, like I was showing you, you can see a little bit more of the artistic detail. So anyway, these were palaces built for the workers, so they said. But, they also went to people that had connections in the party, things like that. I know of a person that got his apartment in June of 1961 prior to the Berlin Wall going up, and he got it even as a journalist, and he had to get it through kind of a connection. He saw a posting about it, and he was able to kind of work his way into there, even though they were supposed to be technically for the workers. So important to visit if you ever spend some time in Berlin, and don't just fly through it. Make sure you spend some time in both sections, 50s and 60s Karl Marx Allee. It'll help you understand Berlin as a whole.